So the Premier League is underway. We've been waiting months and months for this, and finally, we had everything we wanted at the weekend: the red card, comebacks, disallowed goals, and all of that already. So when you have a weekend with all of that action, it's safe to say the Premier League is back and fully underway. But without wasting much time, let's go into some of the best talking points after the opening weekend. And first off, Victor, is that game at Old Trafford. I think just like we said in our predictions video, we were not expecting much fireworks, so to say. We were not expecting much fireworks, and Arsenal managed to, end up with all 3 points. Even though Manchester United fans feel like, oh, we got 3 points for being the better side. But the question is, Manchester United looked much better than last season, and do you think that was because Arsenal were just very poor, or are you also, joining the school of thought that United might be much better than they were last season?
It's so hard to draw a conclusion on this because no one, and I repeat, no one's at 100% on match day one, unless you're like James Milner or Mo Salah or some other freak of nature. Nobody's at 100% on match day one. I think it was a combination of both. Obviously, Mbumo and Cunha bring a different dimension to United, and Arsenal, they have been, yeah, a little bit lethargic, let's say, on Sunday. So I think it's just a combination of the two.
Yeah, fair enough. And Max, are Chelsea fans in for a reality check about the actual level of their squad after their opening result against Crystal Palace?
I mean, I'd say no because I felt like Chelsea was the better team. Obviously, they had 71% of ball control and 19 shots on goal. And okay, 19 shots in total and only 3 on goal. I guess that was just a bad game for the Chelsea players. They just couldn't score, but obviously they played good, and I feel like they're gonna improve in next rounds.
Fair enough. And moving on to what was the first controversy, so to say, of the season. And it's poetic because last season, Eze had a free kick disallowed on the opening day as well. And this season, the same thing has happened, speaking about coincidences. But this time around, Victor, what do we think about Eze's disallowed goal? I mean, the referee explained the reason why the goal was disallowed, but what do you make of that decision?
I feel like it sets a precedent. You know, this sort of thing happens with 8 out of 10 free kicks, right? Where the opposition players are a little bit too close to the wall. This time around, it was just blatant. It was like they were pretty much coming together. So I understand the reasoning behind the decision, but I'm afraid also that everybody's going to be up in arms about the fact that, oh, there's no consistency, blah, blah, blah. It's one thing when they're like 80 centimeters away instead of a yard, and it's another when they're actually coming together. So it was, in a sense, the right decision, but it might have some pretty nasty ramifications in the near future.
Yeah, fair enough. And Max, Tijani Reinders had a stellar debut for Manchester City. He scored a goal, made an assist. It was brilliant in the middle of the park. Although people are saying, oh, it's just Wolves. Regardless, do you think it could end up as one of the potential bargains of the season?
I mean, obviously, when you sign this type of player for the same amount Arsenal put in Madueke, it could be a best signing of the season so
Less.
far. Yeah, even less. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say it's only Wolves, but actually he was looking pretty much great on all parts of pitch, and also last season at Milan he was also quite big, and especially versus much bigger teams than Milan itself. So I feel like yeah, he's gonna be one of the best signings of this season.
Mm, fair enough. And moving on to Gyokores, Victor. Gyokores was more or less a passenger in Arsenal's victory over Manchester United. Played only 60 plus minutes and was removed, and he did not even have a shot on target all through that game. So, what do you think Mikel Arteta must do to get the big Swede more involved in games?
Get Amorim as assistant manager, maybe. I mean, it's my FPL team did not do great, but this was definitely one of the low points. It was just a terrible performance. However you put it, everybody was expecting more, and that's the problem with overhyping a player. Sometimes debuts don't turn out the way people plan them in their heads, whether it's fans or the players themselves. I think it's still early. We can't label him as a flop. I think we can't even label him as a flop if he scores just six by December or something like that. So it's still very much a wait and see about this. But yeah, this one particular game, oof. But at least he started, unlike Sheshko.
Yeah, fair enough. And over to you, Max. Liverpool still remain interested in Isak. I mean, though the interest seems to have calmed down in recent days, but do you think Ekitike could prove to be a marquee signing on his own, and maybe Liverpool end up saying Ekitike is scoring goals, we don't need Isak anymore?
I mean, I was telling that Isak is overpriced 100% throughout all time, and me watching both games of Liverpool this season, and Ekitike was quite good, I'd say, in both of them. And I feel like if you really want to put somewhere 150 mil, you better sign a winger and let Ekitike play, because he was looking great in both games and he was a key player for me at least. So I'd say you better keep Ekitike as a striker and sign winger instead of signing Isak, that is kind of acting like a child nowadays, and I'm not sure that he gonna put good effort for the team.
Interesting what Victor would think about that in his mind. Oh yeah.
No, I just realized Max isn't rating Cody Gakpo much.
Yeah, fair enough. But let's move away from the big boys for a minute and let's go to Sunderland. Just like we predicted in our predictions video, we were fairly certain, or at least very positive, that they would, get a result against West Ham, and they did that in style. A massive 3-0 win. But Victor, the question here is, what are the expectations, or what are the realistic expectations from Sunderland this season, especially after their summer transfer spree?
Oof. Yeah, it's easy to get carried away, right? But let's keep things in perspective. This was only West Ham, and it's unfortunately, and it pains me to say it, but it's a donkey of a team at the moment, West Ham. And it would be easy to say, oh my God, yes, they're gonna challenge for Europe, Sunderland and whatnot. I think any final ranking between 12 and 17 will be a success for them, honestly. They might want to try to steer clear as early as possible, and they seem to be doing that at the moment. But let's wait until they play some more of the teams that they're going to be scraping against, like whether we think Brentford or Wolves or stuff like that. Let's see how they perform against more of those before we pass some judgment.
Yeah, fair enough. But I would think that at least after the amount they spent, the very least expectation is that they should not be relegated. At least in my head, that is the least expectation.
That's true, but there's also the argument that you can change too much in one summer. So
Yeah, true. Anyways, we're just going to have to see how everything plays out for Sunderland. And there you have it. Round one was a blast. Round two is just around the corner. And of course, we'll be giving our thoughts ahead of game week 2 as well. For the start, our predictions were pretty decent. And of course, we will have more of that coming up as the season progresses.